That's what I get for procrastinating. I knew when I had this quilt and I put it on the long arm, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have some trouble. And I procrastinated a whole week because I knew this quilt was gonna make me earn my pay. Look at here. Lord Jesus. She's beautiful. I'm proud of it. Hello. I guess we're gonna work today. Ugh, last week was horrible, but I'm gonna try to start the week off better. Today's a work day. I'm gonna be working on an antique quilt right here. I've been working, but not on my clients' quilts. I've been working on like YouTube, and so I'm gonna kind of do both today, I guess. And I've been moving everything around again, but downstairs and in my house, trying to reorganize. I tend to reorganize probably like every 3 months or every 6 months, because then everything starts becoming a mess and crowded. And anyway, we're gonna be working, so yeah, come with me. All right, let's look at this beautiful quilt. You see this? I just wet the fabric. I think I need to starch it too, but you can see this kind of, what you can do, you can put batting, a thin layer of batting to take up some of this extra fabric, but I don't like doing that initially unless I have to. But here's this beautiful puddling. So I'm going to iron it. And you see this stain right here? I don't want to iron too much there because that could be washed out. So when you're ironing, be careful that you don't set in or lock in stains, especially on antique quilts like this. I like hover steaming. Do you see how much it took up just in ironing? So I'm gonna, this is like fully starched. I'm gonna wet the areas that are puddling and leave like the areas that are not puddling alone, but mainly kind of like drenched with starch. So I steam ironed these so they're a little bit wet, and then on this next pass, I'm gonna do a dry iron. I love steam though. I'm tempted to. But I notice if you're using starch, if you dry iron, look how flat this becomes. It takes it in and it's not wet anymore. And it kind of stiffens this fiber. Look how flat and beautiful. I picked a thread that was kind of went with this quilt. I could have gone with a light pink or a light green or a light blue. I picked a light blue so that all these like little hints of blue throughout the quilt would be highlighted, but the thread is so light that it doesn't overpower the lighter areas of the quilt. Some areas, the way the maker put this quilt together, like this, you can't fix that unless you unstitch it and redo the quilt. You see how you can't stop the puckering, but you can make it as clean as you possibly can. That some things you can't fix, but you can make it as clean as possible. Like I can't fix some of this, but when it's quilting, I can make sure that doesn't look worse. Initially, after I roll, I spray the quilt, and I iron the quilt with a lot of steam. I dry heat here. Just let the iron just sit in the area as the steam already took a lot of it up, and then it just kind of flattens out really beautiful. This quilt is narrow at this end, so if I tuck it this way to clean it, it pulls the fabric. stress out till I get to it. I'm just gonna do this next row. Usually when we get to problems like this, I try to fix them as I go. You can't determine this, okay? So this has nothing to do with you when you're working. It's just the way the quilt was made. I'm gonna keep quilting the row and just move on. When I get to here, which is gonna be the difficult part, we'll get there and figure something out. Maybe when I roll the quilt, the fabric will just somehow miraculously lay flat. Sometimes this happens. Or if I unroll it and re-roll, sometimes it kind of just softens or lightens the tension on the quilt and it just lays flat. I don't know. We're just gonna pray. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Leave this alone and not worry about it. But we'll just keep going. I don't know if you can see, it's a bit better. What I'm doing is I'm spraying it and I'm stretching it. As it's wet, I'm stretching this and weighting it. And so you can see that as it's wet, it's kind of conforming to where I want it to form. And here, I'm just wetting the heck out of it where it lays nice and straight. Even here, so I have more stretch on this border. Whoever sewed this tucked in the border. And using the bar, this bar, as a controller. Now you can see as I pulled there, it kind of pulled there. But because it's so wet, it's kind of stuck in position. Because I'm using this bar to be like an anchor. You have to be extremely gentle when you're doing what I'm doing. You can literally tear this quilt apart this way. So here you see it, and I'm pulling it, and the fullness is going down. So I pulled some of the fullness that was up here into this area, and now it's traveling. Do you see all this? And now you can pull some of the fullness into that feather. And I'm gonna pull some of this fullness down a bit into this space. Here, I'm gonna grab it, and I don't want it to pleat. Now I'm pushing. You see how I tucked it to the side? And now it's gonna come in here, and there's fullness, which is okay. And now all this fullness is inside this space. This quilt made me work for it. I'm sitting down, I need a timeout. Now that I let her off the machine, you can see that you can't even see, every center of this quilt had puddling. The most severe puddling was down here, and the warping was over here. But as the quilt was being quilted, the blessing is it's a decently quilted enough but big enough design to where the fullness can go into those feathers. Yeah, I love and hate these antique quilts, to be honest. I love them because look how beautiful. I hate them because they torture me. You can see my hair. They like put me through